morning, everyone. Thanks for the organizer for inviting us. And it's a hot topic currently on the plastic pollution issues. So, as a CSIR organization, that we are developing a research and development on the environmentally friendly materials to address the plastic pollution. So, it's a great opportunity for us to show how we can the substitute to address the plastic pollution. How can we to address some of the important plastic pollution issues? So my presentation today is on sustainable bio-based biodegradable plastic, an alternative to non-biodegradable plastic products. So the biodegradable plastic is not going to replace all the plastic. It's just we are identifying what are the plastic is not being potentially recycled and is contaminating the environment and is creating a huge plastic pollution. So that kind of technology, that kind of plastic, we want to substitute with the biodegradable plastic technology. So we actually specifically on the single-use plastic item. So that's why our research group is working on to identify how to address the plastic pollution issues. So my presentation, I want to talk about the introduction. What's the plastic pollution? What's the global production of plastics and consumption of the plastic, particularly the various sectors, and the issues on post-consumer plastic after end of life. How is entering to the landfill and ocean? How is gone through the environment? Then what are the plastic waste management options? Why we can't? What's the recycling? Specifically mechanical recycling and pyrolysis or incineration process. Why is this still we couldn't better alternative address the plastic pollution? Why is still going to the landfill and ocean environment and causing a serious threat to the natural environment? So what is the other option? Why don't we go with something like a biodegradable that is solving the environmental issues? And instead of, so how can we design the material? Like instead of petroleum-based or oil-based plastic, why don't we go the route of plant-based, something like you're taking from the carbon from the plant sources and you are modifying and designing that is environmentally friendly. So after end of life, that is if you dispose it, how is degrading in the natural environment to address the plastic pollution. So that is we are R&D working on it. And what's the global market on this kind of technology? What's the economics bringing? And particularly when you design the material, because you can't differentiate if this is a bio-based or in the biodegradable is a plastic, so it looks same. You can't differentiate. So how can we make sure this what you developed is the right material? How to certify? How to label it? And how to bring to the consumer, this is the material, it comes from the plant sources, how to put it different than plastic, how to segregate. So that I'm going to talk about. And also I want to give us some success story that happened in Italy. So how they successfully promoted and how it was successful to address the plastic pollution. So then I want to give the overview. In South African perspective, are we able to establish bioplastic industry? Currently there is no in Africa, there is no bioplastic industry. So we have a capacity to develop it. So I want to give us a little bit R&D that we have developed it. And also from our research perspective, I want to give some key findings. What's the results saying that to develop the material is a biodegradable plastic is a solution to the end of life, or is creating another issue, or shall we go for ban on plastics? Do we have alternatives? So that kind of key findings I want to give. And also I want to give some conclusion and recommendation on the whole overview of the biodegradable plastic technology. So when you're working with this kind of project, I always getting some questions from the various plastic industry, from the public and everything. So I sorted out some of the questions. So what are the major questions comes from that? The first question they were always saying, if you bringing the new biodegradable plastic technology, is a potential risk of contamination in the existing plastic industry, because you can't differentiate it as a bio-based biodegradable technology is a petroleum based. So if consumer if you do not segregate differently, if you mix together, the recycling industry, it will affect, it contaminates the recycling industry. How are we going to address that kind of issues? So I want to address that kind of issue as well. And also, another question, is the bioplastic is a threat to plastic recycling industry? If you look at the South Africa perspective, the plastic recycling industry, one of we are doing very good, and it's going. There is a job creation and maintaining. So they are doing very good. So if your bioplastic industry is like the recycling industry will something will go down, something is lose the job, or something is a right to go to bioplastic something. So I want to address that. Also, I also want to find out the recycling is economically viable. Go for recycling, because there you have to consider, you have to collect it, and you have to segregate. Is a polyethylene or polypropylene or PET and everything. If you have a multi-layer, is economically viable, and you have to clean it and reprocess it. So I want to discuss that aspect as well. And also, when you want to process, is a downgrade product again is a viable. So why then the plastic pollution is happening if something economically viable? So I want to address that kind of also. And also I want to give a sense, is biodegradability a solution to the plastic end of life? So if your material is proven that is biodegradable, is a solution to the plastic pollution issue. And also I want to discuss about still the people are saying that still the plastic is a microplastic or 100% biodegradable. So if, for example, if plastic is fragmented or fragmented, and if it's not fully biodegradable, so something degradation, something anything like a UV light, temperature or whatever, so that it can break down into small pieces, that's called microplastic. So if it goes to the ocean or whatever, the fish is consumes, that can come to the food chain. So are sure that the bioplastic is going to be a microplastic or fully biodegradable? So I want to address that kind of issue as well. And also there is a lot of confusion on the terms of what are bioplastic, what are biodegradable plastic, what are compostable plastic. So I want to give some clarity on this subject as well. And also they will ask the question, how long to degrade? There are some international technology, they're saying might take something like biodegradable technology takes 5 years to degrade. Can I claim is a biodegradable? And how is my material is degraded in compost? I can't degrade. So how long to degrade is in industrial composting, home composting, in landfill, and marine. If you go to the ocean, how long to degrade? And how to identify whether it's a biodegradable plastic or compostable plastic, how to identify conventional plastic. So what are the policy and the labeling we need it in South Africa? So also I want to address it. So if you look at the plastic, world plastic production, in 1950, we have not realized that plastic is going to be a phenomenal. And if you see the 1977, it was from 50 to the 1950 to 1977 is completely take up 50 million. Currently, we are sitting with 355 million tons per year. So what it means that the plastics is part of our everyday life. So because it has a unique property, it replaces many materials like metals, and so because of it has a lightweight, transparency, and it is a low cost, easy processing. So there are a lot of advantage. That's a medicine that people are started to use, and is the production, plastic production is growing. But if you look at the sector application, the plastic, the dominant is packaging, and also mainly is going for construction application and automotive application and agriculture application and other sectors. And if you look at that, particularly in the packaging, it comes like the flexible film as well as the rigid packaging, and also agriculture, plastic culture, mulch film and everything, all the nursery, all everything. These are, you can say, is a short-term application. It's not durable. For example, if you go for construction, automotive, that plastic are used for durable application. But it's mainly if you look for the packaging, it's only short-term and it's single and short-term uses. So mainly you use it and is ending up with the landfill or whatever. So that is the issue. So if you specifically if you go into deep into the plastic packaging, if you can see all the supermarket and all the food, everything in the packaging, and it's a thin film. And so you know, if you are after the food or the vegetables, everything, we have not care about the packaging. So the commonality of all the packaging is the packaging, the tray, the film wrapping, and everything. So these are petroleum based. It's a recalcitrant. You know, once we use it, finally ending up is like this. So the world is not only for South Asia, the world faces the plastic pollution issues. It's approximately more than 8 million tons plastic is entering to the ocean. And these are called recalcitrant. It takes more than 100 years to degrade. So it's not only is harmful to the living organism, it's terrestrial habitat, marine habitat. So that is, we have a serious problem really. And if you look at that, and you have to consider that the plastics are cheap to produce, but very, very expensive to clean the environment. So you have to be, if we're not taken proper action, our future generation will suffer. And also the notified the plastic entering to the ocean that by 2050 there will be more plastic than fish if I'm not properly. That report is coming from the World Economic Forum. So there is a serious issue. So as every aspect, we have responsible person to tackle this issue. This I want to show that the dark brown areas, particularly in Asia, in China, Thailand, Indonesia, that the plastic leaking to the ocean is more than 5 million ton per year. And if you get the dark light brown, like from India and North America and South America, there is 1 to 5 million that is leaking every year. It means, when the plastic enter to the ocean, it's uncontrollable, and the ocean do not recognize this plastics comes from the South Africa, it comes from the Asia and everything. So it's huge. So we have to accept that we have a huge problem now. So to address, and if you look at it in South Africa, 90% of the waste generated still disposing to the landfill. And it's like emerging developing countries, still we don't have a proper infrastructure on the maintaining of the waste. So we need to address that. So once if we go to the landfill, the 80% of the plastic waste goes from the landfill to ocean. So that is we need to address. So if you look at the plastic waste management option, so there is a different kind of, you can go mechanical recycling. Mechanical recycling, you have to segregate, and if you have mixed plastic, you got to, so I don't want to go deep into that. The plastic representative, they will speak more on that. And we found that particularly the thin film and the flexible single use is not economically viable. That is a real issue is happening. That's the reason the single-use plastic is problem is happening. Another one is another recovery. Why don't we go for the incineration process, just to burning and take a fuel and pyrolysis process and use it for electricity, other purposes. There is already demonstrated in many countries, in Sweden and others. They found that there's when you burning it, there's unknown cases that it can affect the environment. So still is dangerous, still in the investigation. It's not fully established. But another one is the go for biological routing. That means you have a waste, that you have a microorganisms like a bacteria, fungi present in the environment, like any compost or water and soil, landfill condition or anaerobic digestion. There are bacteria that eats the plastic as a carbon sources that gives the end products like a end product like a CO2. When you have a aerobic system, it gives a CO2. And if you have anaerobic digestion, something like that, it gives a biogas. This is a natural process. How your paper waste, how your banana, food waste degrading, similar concept. So that's the advantage of if you go for biological. This is an environmental friendly route. So that's a route. Another one, if you look at the plastic management waste hierarchy, there's always like a reuse, recycling, and energy recovery and all the aspect. But we are recommending is a reuse, recycling is a high priority. But if you miss it, if you come into the landfill and ocean, this is uncontrollable. So that is a real issue. So that we have a problem. So we are promoting. We don't want something develop a technology put into the landfill, but we want to address that issue when recycling itself. Something we are telling, let's go to, if you have a composting, so you have a closed system. So the closed, so you can put your plastics in the composting system. So the microorganisms, the bacteria, fungi, it eats and it degrades. So that can use as a fertilizer. After is degrading, you can use as a fertilizer. You can put into the soil. It helps enrich the soil and everything. So you can control the plastic before go to the landfill, before go to even advantages, there are the technology available. Before go to the technology, if you don't stop it in compost, even if you enter to soil also, it's going to degrade. Even there is technology, even if you don't stop it in soil also, even if it reaches in marine water also, it's going to be completely biodegradable. So there is advantage. So what we are thinking, before go to soil, landfill or ocean, we should have controlled everything to stop the plastic pollution issue.